everybody. Super excited to have my friends. Yes, James and George. They are in the same office in Cape Coral, Florida, and I'm super excited to have you guys here.
We're glad to be here also.
Yes. So I did meet them at Elite Retreat, and we were at the Masterminding Roundtable. And I don't even remember what topic we were talking about, but then it came up with videos. And so I put you both on the spot and got you both to sign up. So I'm glad you did. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yes, it's going to be super fun, and I promise I'm not going to hurt anybody. So tell me about your market in Cape Coral, Florida. What are you seeing?
You want to go first?
You go first, George.
Okay. So maybe something that we were talking about when we met at Elite was we're kind of in the area where the hurricane hit.
Yeah.
So Hurricane Ian came through here. So the market's been kind of, probably different since then, maybe a little unsure, had the hurricane come through. So maybe things slowed down and people are like, oh, well, maybe that's from the hurricane. So we're kind of a year out and we're starting to get a feel for maybe how much we really are slowing down.
So when did the hurricane hit you guys?
September the 30th of last year.
28th.
Oh, wow.
Final answer, 28th.
Wow. And so it did, and I am sorry that I don't know much about it, but it must have done pretty extensive damage.
I think it's being viewed now maybe as the top storm to hit Florida as far as destruction and damage and size and just all the top factors.
So let me ask you this, because we're starting to see a little bit of it, but not as much as Florida as far as insurance and it being hard to get property insurance. Are you guys finding that?
What we're seeing is the rates have increased. My personal home, my escrows for my mortgage went up $800 a month.
Holy shit! And that's from insurance, right?
That's just insurance.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yes, insurance costs as well as interest rates in our area also went up between 42 and 50% in value over 2.5, 3 years. It's kind of really hit us with affordability problems.
Yeah, right. I could see that. And I was reading that I think there's 18 insurance companies that went belly up really in the past 12 months. So I guess that is the reason for the prices going up so much. But that's insane. That's a lot. You're right.
Yeah,
so then I guess that has hurt your business.
Oh yeah, we've had I personally had a couple of deals that fell apart because buyers could not afford the house once they realized all the payments.
Wow.
I had a $485,000 house. They were putting very little money down, but we look at the interest rates, insurance, and everything. That $485,000 house was costing them $4,200 a month.
Wow! Holy cow! Yeah, that is a lot. That's a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
It is a lot of money, especially for anybody who's financing. They get that mortgage and they're tied. They're kind of qualified for that amount, and then all of a sudden you have this huge increase, and they're like, "Whoa!"
So, did either one of you have damage to your personal homes?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Is it back in order by now?
Just about. I'm about 95% back to normal.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you're almost back to normal.
I probably took about 3 months off, to be fair.
Wow. Just to get your house in line?
And my mom's house had issues, but it was just to get things worked out.
Well, we got hit with a storm in 2018 and our whole area shut down for 3 months and the courthouse flooded. So not much you can do when the courthouse is underwater. But you're right. It took, we went, the storm itself wasn't that extraordinary, but it hovered over us for 7 days. And that did a lot of damage. And it took months and really years. Seemed like about every roof in our area got replaced in 2019.
That looks like you had them too.
Yeah, wow. And then I was going to shift and ask you something else about. So I'm shifting what we had talked about, but hurricanes. So 3 points of advice on preparing for hurricanes.
Leave town.
Board up and run. So gas is important, but also cash. In 2018, we didn't have power for 2 weeks. So there was no ATMs. There was no way to get cash, and most of the grocery stores were out of power too. So you could not, like, you couldn't pay with a card of any type. You had to pay with cash,
So
and
I
you
need
couldn't
to
get cash.
I need to put a plug in here for Publix, because all Publix stores have a big generator, so the grocery stores do run.
Yeah,
Just 'cause they're used to
yeah, you're used to the storm. So
they're used to
Jacob
the
and
storm. So we
Oh.
have that, but cash is good. Probably one thing I would comment: people that live, especially the newer people, they'll do everything. They'll get all their supplies and their gas and their cash, and they're ready. And they let the news scare them into evacuating at the last minute. So then they're stuck on the road and they're stuck in traffic. There's no hotel. That's
right.
always caution. If you're gonna go a couple
Get
3 days
early.
out.
No, that's smart.
But after that, you're staying.
Yeah, and if you're saying just hunker in and stay in there.
Yeah, you hunker down. In Florida, the best weather forecaster we know is Mike's Weather Page on Facebook.
Wow.
As a Floridian, everyone watches him. He does not hype it. He's not pushing fear.
Yeah.
Kind of fun, and he makes sense. He's explained to you the weather patterns and what makes a difference, so you feel a little more informed.
Yeah.
And definitely, as a Floridian, beginning of every summer, we load up gas cans, water, canned goods, basic stuff. At the end of the season, we pour the gas into our cars.
Yeah, there you go.
Because you use a generator. It's kind of the annual right. It's kind of like up north, people winterize their home. Down here, we summerize our house.
That's right. No, that makes sense. Yeah, we get hit with some storms. We're on the East Coast also, but not like you guys. Thank God. I'm sorry.
Not like us guys now.
Not like you do now.
Ian, we're on the map.
Then if you compare your market compared to last year, pre-storm, I guess, what are you seeing as far as the housing prices and the number of days on the market?
The days on market's definitely up. We've gone from this time last year. Actually, our MLS is a 13-month review.
Wow.
So 13 months ago, we were 9 days on market. Right now, we're 32 days on market, and that's specifically in Cape Coral single-family homes.
Wow, that's awesome, because it has gone up, but now I feel like you've got a little bit more time for the buyers to actually get into the homes, and it's still, that's still relatively short. How long have you guys been in real estate?
January be 21 years.
Wow, so you're brand new at it.
Exactly.
What about you, George?
I think March is 21.
Wow, y'all were both newbies. I'm just teasing. I've been in it 17 years, and you definitely see the highs and lows, but 30 days on the market, historically speaking, is still a really good market.
I think when you look at Lee County, it's more like 45 to 55.
Still good,
This
right?
is just a snapshot in the MLS. Now, keep in mind, the affordable homes, say in the 3s, 4s, maybe low 5s, they can fly off the market fast, which is bringing down the average days on market for everything. Right. The higher price homes are really sitting on the market longer.
So one thing that I was talking about with my team, and I just wonder if you guys are seeing something comparable, is that, and actually when the team said it, I disagreed with them, but then after I started thinking about it and looking into it, they were 100% right, that the lower end, your first time home buyer price range of homes, right? Some of those are staying on the market a little bit longer because those people, like you said, James, some of those people can no longer buy because of interest rates or insurance or whatever. And so that price point isn't quite low enough to be an investor and not quite high enough to be the next level up. And we're seeing a little bit of stagnant going on there, which surprised me.
Well, I think fortunately for us, the builders are kind of driving the train with incentives. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing them buying rates down to 4.99 or 5.25. If the buyer's going FHA, and they're paying $15,000 in closing costs. So it seems like the incentives are growing pretty quickly. The builders don't want to sit on anything. I think we saw something where people were under contract to close on a new build, and the rates changed so much during that period that it was time to close. Yeah. They didn't. and then some of that stuff came back on the market, and then the builders kind of responded with those big incentives.
Yeah, but good for the builders for reading the market and doing that, right?
Yeah.
We're starting to see some of that here too, where you're starting to see 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 towards closing cost or buying down the rates, which definitely makes it a little bit easier to swallow.
Right.
And we're seeing these nationwide home builders, they're offering between 5 and 8% co-brokes.
Right.
I mean, when everyone's talking about commissions, talking about the lawsuit, these nationwide builders seeing the writing on the wall, they're offering more.
Right.
So I saw this happen again, like around 2009 and 10, when the market kind of slowed down and a lot of builders were going belly up. And the builders that stayed around were the ones taking care of the real estate agents, right?
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah, but we have one right now that we are fussing with because we brought buyers in, went under contract and closed. And the on-site agent, who is the builder rep, is still refusing to give us commission because the buyer logged into their website a year ago.
Yeah.
But the buyer logged into 10 websites, including ours.
It's interesting because a lot of times when you go to register them, you'll see the registration's only good for 60 or 90 or maybe 180 days. And it's funny, they'd go back a year.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know how they could do it or why they would want to do it, because the same thing you guys said, like the real estate agents are the big pool of people bringing people to buy it to the builders. So why
everybody seems to be becoming more flexible.
Yeah.
We looked at a new construction the other day and it had incentives based on you using their lender. And I was like, well, they have a lender that's a friend. And the guy's like, just bring the offer. We'll figure it out. You know?
Good. So they're making it happen. That's really good.
Yeah.
And then, so what is the advice that you're giving? Like, give me two sets of advice. Like one that you're telling your buyers. And then secondly, what are you telling your sellers right now? Don't talk too fast.
You want me to go first?
You go first.
I would say with the buyers, don't be afraid to make an offer. Like if you've been in the market and you've been watching, don't be afraid to put something out there, because there's a lot of people on the sidelines and they're like, if it was 25,000 less or 50,000 less, I would be a buyer. Well, now's maybe a good time to, at least in this market, to try that out and see what happens.
Yeah. You're saying just put in an offer.
Right. If you're the market. So if you feel like you want to try something that wouldn't have worked 2 years ago, definitely now's a good time to try.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice.
And then the thing is with incentives, try to negotiate those incentives the same way the builders are offering. I think when we're taking listings, we're explaining that to the sellers that this is kind of your competition. This is what the landscape looks like. And be prepared that you may have to entertain or get involved in some of this buy downs or closing costs credits.
And Colleen has a question for us, wanting to know what is the average price point for new construction in Florida?
In Cape Coral, single family homes, they start at $289. In Cape Coral, there's 4 brand new homes for under $300,000. They're all 3-bedroom, 2-bath, concrete block construction, 2-car garage.
That's awesome. Ours will say, there's a lot of signs that say, oh, they start in 300, but we didn't actually go in the MLS. I think our average price point is about 425 for new construction, for new builds, new construction.
We have quite a bit that's like 330 to 350. Yeah. That's probably the bigger entry point where you have I don't want to say glut, but you have a few of them.
And then, so what advice are you giving your sellers then, George? Now we heard about you and the buyers. So to make an offer and see what happens.
This is a big secret I'm going to share with you.
Okay, nobody tell.
It's price. It's price. If you and your neighbor have the same house and they've been on the market for 3 months and they're at a certain price, well, that's not the price. That's and right. That's right. trying to explain that it feels like we're heading down a different side of the market now, and we have to be competitive. Yeah. And if nobody's coming to see the house, if we're not getting any clicks or hits, then the recipe is not working. Something's not working
into
the market. So,
in a downward trending market, homes that sell sooner will sell for more.
Yep.
We saw that in the last recession. No one can tell if this downturn will be as bad as the last.
Yeah.
However, if your plans are to sell and move, if you have that goal to move from Florida, they move back up to the Carolinas. They move back up. Yeah, exactly, halfbacks. So I'll let you know.
Halfbacks.
So the halfbacks are moved back to be with grandkids, or they're afraid of the last hurricane. If you want to move, you have to have your house priced correctly.
That's
At
right.
the peak of our real estate market, which is April 22, there were 300 single-family homes for sale in Cape Coral.
Wow.
Cape Coral is 125 square miles, population 210,000 people, 300 single-family homes. Right
Not
now,
very much at all. How many are on the market now?
2,389
Holy
on the market right now. So we are pre-COVID. So we're pre-COVID numbers for inventory, while having the interest rates high, insurance to the roof, and it's affordability problem.
And the
And
prices are up 40%.
yeah,
Or
between
45%.
42 and 50% on average in this area.
Wow. So then what do you tell your buyers? What advice do you give them? They want to buy and,
I'm
interest rates.
primary a listing agent. That's most of my business. And some of the buyers I do work with, which is unusual, it's make sure you like the house.
Yeah.
You can always refinance it later.
That's
Interest
what I
rates shouldn't stay up this high.
Sure.
But we're not mind readers. We don't have a crystal ball.
That's right.
We're going to treat people ethically. Meanwhile, most of the people right now that are buying because they have to.
Yeah.
They're relocating. It's a job. It's their first home. Their lease is up.
I don't know about you. Our rent here is super expensive. I mean, you'll pay $2,000 to $2,400 for just a small starter home, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,400 square feet. So if you take that and you translate it into a year's worth of rent, I mean, you're spending, $24,000, $30,000 a year in rent. That is just taking the money and throwing it out the window and just saying thank you for allowing me to pay your mortgage. I mean,
rents are stupid everywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
But we are making progress on that.
Well, good. That's good. So then, James, what do you tell your sellers, since that's your specialty? What do you tell them?
Like I said, if you want to sell the property, we have to have it priced right.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike everyone else, it has to look good. You're living on a stage, make your bed, put away the dishes, that usual old-fashioned real estate stuff. But it has to be priced right.
Yeah.
I've left quite a few listing appointments lately because their expectations are unreal. And I have enough listings that aren't selling.
So funny enough, I just went to a listing appointment in Curry Beach on Sunday, and he was telling me that he is interviewing other agents and he's not ready to list until January, February. And I was talking to him and I said, so what are you looking for in an agent? Here's what he said. Somebody will give me the highest price with the lowest commission.
Yeah.
And I laughed and I was like, well, I tell you what, let me tell you what you're going to end up hiring. You're going to end up hiring a brand new agent that tells you whatever you want to hear. And I was like, but if somebody can't negotiate their own commission, how are they going to negotiate the price of your home? Right. And then here's the kicker. I said, well, I tell you what, let's talk in 6 months when your house doesn't sell and you actually want to hire the person that will get it sold. And he looked at me. Anyway, I got the listing, but he looked at me so confused. And I'm like, you're skewed on what it is you're looking for. Right. Anybody could tell you I could sell your house for $5 million, but it's not going to sell for $5 million.
Right. And in 6 months, it could sell for less, potentially.
That's exactly right. And then I don't know which one of you, but somebody said, I think it was you, James, that you'll get more if you go ahead and sell in a shorter period of time. And
we're trading market.
But that's 100% true. I think that is so true. And that's what I try to tell people. Like, we can list it anywhere you want to, but in 30 days, when we drop the price, now you've got 2 red flags. We've been on the market too long, and now we've dropped the price. So the general public is saying, what's wrong with the house? If you just listed it right in the beginning, it would have been sold.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, in a listing appointment, not until the guy it's worth $650.
Yeah.
It was an ugly house. The reality is, great lot, ugly house, not my fault. Don't worry, he's got time, and I'm out of the house in 15 minutes. The fastest listing appointment I've ever had. 2 years ago, I would have said 615, and he would have said no. I said, well, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking 8. Well, I tell you what, why don't we put them for 799, and we'll see what the market does, and now I'll work you down.
Yeah.
But nowadays, that bad decision cost me $400 or $500. Photography, signs, assistance time, paperwork.
Right.
Why bother? I'd rather go play golf than list an overpriced house because it's not going to sell, and there's going to be too many people fighting for expireds because
Right.
they're for any business. I would rather not get in a pig fight.
Yeah, that's right. And you can show your value, and if they don't see your value, then you know.
I think
You're right. He was listed for $900,000, $899, where an agent never sold anything ever. With
I had
pictures and all the worst stuff.
I had a house that I went in about 6 months ago to look at listing it, and it was an octagon house, so it looked like you're inside of a golf ball. We don't have a lot of those here. There might be 2 in our area, maybe 3. So it was interesting to be on the inside of it, but he smoked heavily.
Oh.
He was a hoarder. They had tons of damage. You could see on this octagon, if you can imagine being inside of a ball, literally like a golf ball, we could see where the roof had been leaking and it had dripped all down the walls. I mean, there tons of wood rot. There was a pool in the backyard that had a branch that went through it. So there was only like maybe 6 inches of water in the pool, and it was like black, nasty, sluggy stuff. And then he himself had started adding on and never finished it. And that was all rotted. And he wanted to list it at 1.2 million. And I thought he couldn't give it away for 400,000, really. But he also had a lot of weird things. He had locks on the outside of the primary bedroom door. When I asked him what that was, he said, so, and this was an older gentleman, like probably in his 70s, if I had to guess, said when his girlfriend got unruly, he would lock her in there, and he was not joking. And then upstairs, there was another lock on a bedroom upstairs. And when I asked him that, he said it was for his girlfriend's daughter. So when she was unruly, and I was like, well, how does she use the bathroom? And he was like, see that bucket on the floor? Anyway, needless to say, I didn't take the listing. I ran for cover. I was scared for my life. And then he called me, and I didn't answer it because I didn't want anything to do with this creepy guy that locked his girlfriend and her child.
Because you're an unruly realtor. You don't need that pressure in your life.
I was terrified. No way, no how. I wasn't going to have anything to do with this crazy man. But he comes back, he calls me, and I don't answer it. I'm now just completely avoiding him. And his response was, when I call my realtor, she will answer. So I had to call him back to say, I'm not your realtor. I'm not selling my soul to the devil. I don't want your business. You're crazy.
Be a surprise.
And I'm scared for your girlfriend and her child.
You hang around there long enough, you're going to have a door with a lock on it.
I'll be locking other people out.
You're going to be locked in here till this house sells for 1.4.
This piece of crap house that you could not even give away, that literally was falling down around him, and I could not believe. And our average price point is 400,000. Please keep in mind. So that was like so far skewed.
So we just had one of those golf ball houses sell in Matlacha.
Wow.
In Matlacha Isles, it just, I mean, literally, it looks like something from Epcot.
Yeah, it's
in the same issues.
Yeah, I was so disoriented on the inside of it because there's no true like front or back or sides. So I kept being like, where am I? Like, where's the front door? Right? Because everything's circular. So
you could see in the pictures like the drip marks on the drywall and stuff, like you were saying. Yeah. But it sat on the market and they kept dropping it. I think it came on at like 400 and sold for like 250.
Wow. So the same thing. That's what he said, that he had to offer 3 real estate agents prior for 700,000. I said, call that agent and accept it. Right.
Did you find it? I see you looking it up. It's a Gloria Tate one.
Oh, I know. I know which house it is.
Do y'all know my friend Mark Cruz from Denver? Yeah, see, I probably met him at Elite. Look, everybody wants a little shout out.
Nashville. Woohoo!
We got people from all over watching us. Yeah, if y'all have any questions, let us know. We are here to talk to you. James, what are you looking up?
He's looking up golf ball house.
listed for 450, then sold for 275.
Wow.
It's the lot value.
Yeah, right. Those houses are weird. Is that like something normal in Florida?
No.
That's not normal anywhere.
Yeah, you wonder why. Like, who was thinking about that in the design of it?
Well,
You used to buy the plans back in the 70s and 80s and
Right.
build them,
Yeah.
usually out in the desolate no man's land. But it's weird to see one of those on a tropical island on a canal.
Yeah, so this guy was trying to tell me it had to do with the winds and the speed and to make sure that there'd be no hurricane damage. And the only thing I was doing is looking around, looking at all the damage. So what are you guys doing since you're seeing a little bit of a shifting market, seeing the prices are starting, did we talk about prices? Are they starting to level out?
They're starting to pull back. They're starting to
go down a little bit.
Yeah. What do you have on there? 5% on your little sheet?
So to be clear, they're in the same office. They're right next door to each other. So just yell at them, knock on his door.
No, we shut doors so we wouldn't talk over each other. Yeah, in a year, the median home value in Cape Coral went from 445 to 396.
Oh wow, so it's gone down a little bit.
Yeah,
10%,
12%.
So what are you doing in the shifting market? What are you doing differently? Are you doing anything differently?
Not wasting our time overpricing anything.
Right. I would agree with that.
That is number one.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just like going back to basics, right?
Well, it is. Well, before you had everything was pricing up so fast, you would want to overprice it. You didn't want to sell the first day.
That's right.
You won the market for a little bit. You wanted to actually do some real estating. Now it's going the other way. You hope it gets picked up sooner than later. That way, you don't have that weekly phone call. Hey, Ed and Jane, it's Jimmy Sommers, your realtor. I just want to give you a call so you recognize the sound of my voice. We haven't had any showings. We hadn't had any offers. Meanwhile, in your community, these other homes have gone under contract for less price, and we know your house is nicer. And so you're constantly trying to work on that price reduction. So, which just kills you sometimes over and over again. So you have to price the listings correctly. We both have teams. So you're trying to keep your teammates motivated. What are you guys doing this week? Are you setting open houses? You have to remind your buyer's agents the best free advertising is the open house.
That's right. That's right. And people are walking into you.
Yeah.
So we're trying to use like the incentives, the builders' incentives. We're trying to reach out to people from a couple years back that maybe we never actually got into a house, trying to show them, hey, here's some opportunities. You can negotiate the pricing. There's different incentives, and kind of rekindle their excitement about getting into the market. Because, a lot of people didn't get in. A lot of people weren't able to get in 2 years ago.
That's right.
So we're trying to keep that database active and following up with those people.
No, I think that's really good. I think going back to your database, and that's the same thing when I talked to Nick Bailey. That's what he said too. He picked up his phone and was like, "People on your phone, these are the people you need to be calling." But I do think sometimes it's just going back to basics. I think open houses are phenomenal. We had an open house, and my buyer's agent was running 15 minutes late, and I had 10 phone calls from people waiting in line, wanting to know if the open house was still happening.
Wow.
To be clear, I couldn't get them for being late, but.
Well, and we find that certain neighborhoods, certain positions, you get a pool home, there's definitely more interest in a pool home, maybe a newer home, a certain neighborhood. If you're not in a flood zone, different
qualifying
tactics.
factor. Yeah. No, I love it. And so so then other than making sure that they're priced right, are you doing anything differently? You could say no. And then so let me piggyback on that. And let me start by saying every year I try to add something new to my business that I believe will bring an extra 5 to 10 closings, right? I don't want any major change, because if there's major change, my team is not going to be happy. I'm not going to be happy, and it's not going to get done. So I just try to add a little something in every year that I believe will bring more business.
So one thing that I noticed is emerging in the market is like the drone videos. So now you're seeing people where, they're flying up on the front door or circling the property where, last year or 2 years ago, drone photos were good, but now it's turning into drone videos. So that's something that we've kind of explored. It's something that is available, and it's going to be more readily available here in the short period. I think that's probably an adjustment we're working into.
I think that is great. And I was just I had some Remax friends that came down to Wilmington and visited, and Stephen Hall, I don't know if you know him, out of Philadelphia, but he had a drone camera that would follow him. It's like, and then he did like a tour of the house, and thought it was the craziest thing ever, because I'm like, how are you steering it? What's happening? And it was just following him. Kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah. What about you, James? Drone video, I agree 100%, George.
I don't have any new right now.
Yeah.
Um,
I would tell you last year is when I started. This is my second year of doing these, right? We're talking to agents across the United States. And that has been a huge, huge, huge change in my business on multiple levels. One, it's been really interesting to learn about other markets. It's been interesting to learn about other contracts because as people are leaving Florida and moving to Wilmington,
What?
It makes it nice that I kind of have an understanding of what they're dealing with in Florida as far as real estate. And then when they come to me, I can know how to properly guide them. Even like, especially like New York, when an attorney does all your contracts and everything, here you only meet the attorney at closing. Attorney's not going to call you ahead of time, but it's nice to know how New York does it, because I could prepare my buyer to say, hey, listen, it's done differently here. You're not going to meet the attorney until the day of closing, and you're never going to speak to him prior or after. Let's be clear.
Right. Yeah, we don't even use attorneys. I mean,
are you a title company? I mean, title state?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're an attorney state. Yeah, and there's something different in Florida too, right? Because you're a facilitator of the contract. What do you call that?
Transactional broker.
Transactional broker. I don't really know what. Tell me what that means.
Go ahead, James.
I totally put both of you on the spot. I am so sorry.
No.
You represent the contract. I mean, you have your customer. You don't owe. You're not a single agent with fiduciary duty, but you do represent your customer.
Okay.
And so you have all the usual treat them honestly, fairly, point anything out that generally affects the value of the property. You know, that's all pretty much normal, good real estate manners, if you will.
So you don't represent the seller or the buyer.
You represent the transaction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fair enough. We don't do that here. We represent the buyer or the seller, and we can have dual agency. We'll represent both.
So it's probably our version of dual agency.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's interesting. The other trend I'm starting to see, and really I would have told you prior to this year, most of my clients were coming in from New York, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, California. But now we're getting a huge influx from Florida, and I really do think it's that insurance.
Well, I think a lot of people were really scared from the hurricane. Like and people had some coastal people had 4 foot or 6 foot of water in their homes, and they're cleaning them up. They're putting them back together. They want to sell them and they want to leave.
Yeah. They want to get the hell out of Dodge, right?
Yeah.
I don't blame them. It's kind of scary. So, but do y'all get hit with storms often? Like in 10 years, how many storms hit you in 10 years?
15. This would be our second one in 15.
Okay. So you don't get hit very often.
15 or 20, 19 years, 20 years, 2 storms.
So so that's like us. We don't get hit very often either.
There's enough time to build it back before the next one.
It doesn't happen often. I'm sorry. What were you saying, James?
And all the newer homes lasted better.
Yes.
Newer construction codes, higher elevations, homes that are current code had the least amount of problems or almost no problems.
Right.
What we really saw were older homes built before 1985 at the lower flood level. Those were flooded, that older part of town. Older roofs, older construction just didn't stand up to the storm.
Right. Absolutely. So then, I just had another question. I've already forgotten it just that quickly. But I guess what I was thinking is, you don't get hit with storms very often. So people shouldn't be scared of your area.
Well,
If
if you live on the beach, if you live right on the beach and the storm's coming, you should leave.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
if you live in Cape Coral, I mean, not on the coast, and your house is newer, your best place is at home.
So I would tell you, I never leave for a storm. I kind of think storms are really fun. I tell people, like, here we know how to handle a storm. We don't know how to handle snow. We rarely get snow. And we don't get very many hurricanes, but when we do, we really party it up good.
Yeah, we were talking about the hurricane prep, and I thought afterwards is propane. Like, you need propane so you can grill everything that's melting in your refrigerator.
And tons of alcohol. Because if you don't have electricity, you don't have cable, you don't have internet, you don't have. It was funny. My kids and I mean, and my children are grown. I am a grandmother, but my kids and I, who were grown at the time then too, we sat around and played board games, and we actually had so much fun. I mean, we really did have fun just playing board games. I mean, it was, but you forget. That's how
what was different this time was the storm surge. Normally, the wind and stuff, and everyone gets together, and you're in a safe place, and everything works out. But it sat on us for so long, and we couldn't believe, like, the water was just so much water was coming in.
Yeah, that's what happened to us too. And then when the storm left, then there was like a lunar tide, and then there was something. I mean, it was crazy. Like, we had our highways washed away, and it was so not only could you not leave, but you also couldn't come back.
Yeah,
which was another.
Look up Mount Lachey, and you'll see how the road was all washed out.
Wow, that's insane. So so back to real estate. Although hurricanes much more fun to talk about sometimes. So what advice would you give, and we'll sum this up now, but what advice would you give a brand new agent starting out?
You want me to go?
You
go, George, go.
I put a couple notes down. I think FSBOs are a good opportunity. People are trying to, like, if we're not selling them, imagine the for sale by owners. They're not getting any attention at all.
Right.
I think that's a good opportunity. I think talking with people, talking on the phone, failing until you make it.
Practice.
Try this. Oh, it didn't work. Or, you got to meet people, get involved, give back, find what you're passionate about, and get out there and meet people and do what you care about, and you will be able to grow a business around that. But you got to put in the effort every day. You got to make the calls. You got to meet people, and you got to practice your skills or develop your skills for talking with people and objection handling. And
that's right. And you don't. I mean, it's funny. I have 2 new agents I'm training now. And I'm like, it's not about the people that say yes to you. It's about the people that say no to you. Like, you can't stop because one person said yes or one person said no. Like, get through it. It's a numbers game.
When James takes on a new person, they're like at his hip for a couple months. Yeah. And it's the education. It's helping them understand where we live and what the attributes are, and all the things that are going to make you really good at assisting somebody who's coming here for the first time.
No, that's good. So then, James, when they're at your hip for like 90 days. I tried to do that. That's really hard. Holy cow. It's exhausting. It's like somebody asking me questions. It's like back when I used to be a high school teacher. Somebody asking me questions nonstop for like 10 hours. I'm like.
That's exactly what it's like. Literally, they sit here at my desk. Every phone call's on speakerphone. I turn my monitors. They see every email, every conversation. Wow. They go with me to every appointment. They go with me to lunch. They are immersed in the culture. So when I'm showing homes, when I'm taking listing appointments, they're part of every conversation.
Like 9 to 5? Not like, what are your expectations of them being in the office?
Oh, I'm here every morning, 8-ish.
Okay. So you want them there? You want them there from?
Well, I ask them, to be on my team, you have to be a full-time realtor. Yep. How many hours is full-time? 40, 50, 60? This is what I expect.
I
I'm going
love
to give
it.
you a whole bunch of my time,
I love it.
and not to be arrogant, but I break out a pay stub, get a calculator. This is what my day is worth. This
That's
is
right.
how much you're getting from me every day, this much.
That's right. That's what Mark Cruz and I were talking about that recently. How much you make per hour, and when you start figuring that out, it's like, okay, what are you?
Can't do that anymore. Oh, I can't do
That's
that
right.
anymore.
That's
And
exactly.
advice for new agents, and like I told my niece, because my niece wanted to get her license. Everyone, I tell the same thing, because I don't want any new agents right now, to tell you the truth. But I tell them,
Because
find
it's
an office.
hard. It's hard. It's exhausting.
It is. Because I take so much time with each one as I get. But find an office near where you live, so you'll go there every day.
That's
And I
right.
tell them, go there every day so you can listen. I
That's right.
tell them, don't chase commissions. If
That
someone pays you
you nailed it.
100% of your check, they can't afford to teach you.
That's right.
Get on a team, get a reasonable split, and make sure you learn. Make sure they're there to teach you.
That's
Pay
exactly.
them to teach you by selling something.
That's right. No, I think that that's really good advice, and I agree with you. New agents are hard to take on
Mhm.
because it is exhausting. It's a lot on you, a lot on your time. But I do that too to a certain extent. But I usually tell them 9 to 1. I need you here 9 to 1, Monday through Friday, because you need to be in the office. You need to hear everybody. You need to hear the chatter. You need to hear what people are saying. You need to, like you said, I have never actually put them on speakerphone, but that's a really good idea. I think that's a good idea. I think I'm going to take that. Thank you.
For
Um,
I let them all know their first job is to market themselves to other realtors in the office.
that's right.
Reality is, you, the new agent, have nothing to do. So that experienced agent will give you that referral of some waste of time client, that someone looking for a need in a haystack, that buyer price point that they don't want to deal with, that
Yep.
property an hour away.
Well, I would tell you, so when
Garbage.
I was a brand new agent, I actually started with Caldwell Banker and I started with a smaller firm. There were only about 45 agents in the office and I had no idea what I was doing, but I went every single day.
Mhm.
I made my phone calls. I even went through the phone book to make phone calls. Like people told me like, here's a script and here's a phone book.
Mhm.
And I did what I did, open houses. I knocked on doors. I did it all right. But there was an older, more experienced agent in the office, and she saw me trying, and she saw that I was there every day, and I was doing everything that I knew to do to to get clients. And she went on vacation for a week, and she said, "Jennifer, do you want to handle my leads while I'm gone?" And I was like, yes. And she was like, do you agree to such and such referral fee? And I was like, yes, of course. And I literally, those are my first 3 sales. And she was like, damn, like I made like $10,000 on vacation. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
But
Most
she couldn't have given them to me. There were a lot of new agents, but I was in there trying and she knew I was trying. And she saw me working every single day diligently. And she gave me her leads and I was super excited.
Well, probably most new agents, their first deals are either leads from inside the office, from another agent who's too busy to hands off stuff,
That's right.
or from your sphere of influence, your
That's
friend,
right.
your neighbor, your uncle. Those are agents' most organic first deals.
That's right. So come to the office because you don't know what people are willing to give you. Nobody's going to give you anything if they don't see that you're working.
They have
Right.
to like you. They have to see your work
That's
ethic. They have to like you. Go to lunch with people. Don't bring your lunch.
Yeah, I love it.
Hopefully you have some money saved up. Go to lunch with other agents as much as you possibly can.
And
Make
pick their
friends.
brains. That's right.
That friendly realtor, especially if they're in a business 2 to 5 years, they have free time. They
That's
know what it's like to be new, and they will help you more.
Yep, I love it. So James, how many people on your team?
There's 7 of us: myself, licensed admin, and 5 other agents.
Fabulous. What about your team, George?
Well, there's a couple part-time people, but there's 6 of full-time. There's 6 of us full-time.
That's fabulous. Yeah, I have 8 full-time agents and then 2 full-time licensed admin. And then my youngest daughter is not licensed. She's very part-time, but she does all of our marketing. She's wonderful at the marketing aspect of it, but she's still in school. So I use her as much as I can. Don't worry.
You should.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think everything you're saying is exactly right. I think open houses, going to the office, making your phone calls, listening, talking. I think lunch is a great idea. I mean, I used to try to take one agent a week to lunch and just pick their brain.
Yeah.
What is it? What do you, same thing I was doing to y'all. Like, what is it that where do you get your business from? How do you get that business? How do you earn the respect of your clients and, show your value?
Today, we all went to lunch today, and one of my team members was there. And during lunch, we gave him the idea that he should jump into the mobile home sales because he has a car sales background. And we're
Yeah,
like, listen, this will differentiate you. A lot of people don't sell mobile homes, and this will be second nature to you.
that's right.
And now all of a sudden, you have a different value that most people don't have.
Yeah, everybody needs a niche, right? I had an agent on the team years ago, and I got her a bumper sticker that said everybody is a queen of something because she was a queen of the mobile home sales. And she would work so hard for these $50,000, $100,000 sales all day long. And she sold the hell out of them.
Right.
Yeah. But so then, hi, Jesse.
Hey, Jesse's on our team.
Oh, see, look, you got people listening. You got people listening. So are your teams in competition with each other?
No.
No,
I
he's
mean,
built nothing.
hold on. To be fair, I'm sorry. This never happens. So
Brag. Come on, George, brag. What you bragging
you
about?
see this? Oh, it's not in here. You're lucky.
What was
James is usually the top team, right? Would you say more than not?
it? Is this
No. We're just below, but we're always
This month our name got into the top team section.
Well, congratulations. Okay, James, are you a little bitter?
No.
He's been doing golf lessons.
I welcome him.
To the top group?
If he's not selling, he can't buy me lunch. And George, hate to break it to you, if your friends are all broke, you're buying all the time.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think a little bit of that competition is good and healthy, right?
For sure.
Yeah, I think within teams, we don't have a lot at my office now. We don't have a lot of agents, and I wish we did because I think that is fun camaraderie.
Yeah.
Right.
In our team, everyone has their own job board. Right behind me,
What is a job board? Tell me what a job board is.
So properties under contract.
Oh, okay.
Not your listings, not your buyers.
Right.
These are under contract. You're almost guaranteed to get paid in a month or two.
Yep.
So now you walk in, and you'll notice that first time, anytime someone walks in your office, first thing they're going to look at everyone's job boards. They're going to see what you're doing. There is no hiding if you're productive or not.
That's right.
It inspires competition.
We have a. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We have some great millennials, bunch of jocks, and they're very competitive amongst each other. So they come in and someone's board's empty. Like, well, what are you doing? How come you're not working? And if someone's board is full, they comment about how you're successful. What are you doing? Hey, where's this business coming from? Where'd you meet this person? And
I love it.
on every one, we have the lead source. So it's address, the executed date, the deposit, the inspection period, cash or financing, lead source, price, name, and closing. It's all laid out there, so everyone knows what you're doing.
Yeah, I love it. We have that online, but then on our board in the office, they put tally marks every time they get one under contract. We have quarterly challenges, and they kind of do the same thing to each other. And to be clear, I took off pretty much a month of October to go to all these different conferences, which is where I met y'all. So I'm super excited, but it does mean my production is way down because I haven't been doing money-making activities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I came in and I was like, I finally got to put a little tally on my name. And I'm like, yes. But they're all kind of the same way. We've got a gong. They ring a gong. They put a tally up there. They're super excited.
Yeah. Well, I think you're probably doing good because I noticed like for this year, I'm actually going to be down, but overall the team is going to surpass last year.
Wow.
So I feel like that means we're doing the right thing.
You are doing the right thing.
So
No, I would agree with you. And it's hard because our team last year had 16 agents on it. So it's hard to compare true apples to apples. However, we're almost kicking its ass with 8 agents. I mean, so
you got the right people now.
that's ding, ding, ding. That's exactly right. But it's hard to do that. It's hard to get, and it takes a little bit of time, right? When somebody joins your team, it takes a little bit of time to get those nuances worked out because we are truly like a family. I mean, it's our team meetings are phenomenal, but I think an outsider would be like, oh my God, your team meetings. I mean, we're cussing, but we're getting it done. So that's all good.
That's all that matters.
That's exactly right. So you are in a line to do what you did last year, George?
We get to the end of November, we're going to surpass last year.
Wow, that's awesome. So we were Pinnacle 2 years in a row. And
did I say we were Pinnacle? Hold on, put the brakes on.
No, but you're comparing to last year. So we did that 2 years in a row, and then this year, every year, I always feel like we're like we break through at the last minute. We really have to kick it into gear in order to break through. We're somewhat close, but not.
I'm already, like, as a team, I'm already talking about next year. I'm already trying to say, look, let's do what we can do, because we do have some new construction and stuff that's running in the next year, and
well, you're absolutely right. So I think, like, I have a couple of agents on the team that are like feeling sorry for themselves, right? Like, and my thing is, whatever you do today does pay off tomorrow. And maybe not tomorrow.
You can send them down, and James will take them to lunch.
Maybe they should take James to lunch. Look, Joe said you're the best realtor ever.
Joe, thank you very much.
Yeah, he's kissing up to you. Is Joe on your team? Or is he on George's team? That would be funny.
He's a customer friend of ours.
Oh, good. Hey, Joe, welcome to the community. You do have some great agents on your side.
I've worked with them all. They're great people.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Well, in closing up, because I know that we're getting late, and thank you guys for both joining me. I've never had anybody in the same office before. This is kind of fun.
Nice.
So
our office is one of the busier, most productive offices in the area.
Wow. How many agents do you have in your office? Just
120.
Holy shit. That's a lot of agents.
But actually, there are larger offices, just not as productive.
Wow.
We have a couple strong teams.
The two of you being the strongest, just say it.
No, I would not say it. I'm second strongest.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe third.
I try to be in the top 5.
See, but y'all are doing it. And then, James, your production versus last year ish.
I am.
You don't have to tell me. You could just be like,
No. My personal production is pretty close to last year's.
Yeah.
And my team is doing a little bit better than last year's.
Yeah, I found that most team leaders, or at least what I see, but a lot of team leaders, their production pretty much stays the same, pretty trackable. I think the agents on your team are the ones not trackable, because you as a team leader, you know what you need to do to get business, right? Like, I know, like, I track every phone call, every text message, I track everything that I do, because it's very predictable what that outcome will be if you track it. It's hard for me to get the agents on the team to realize the importance of tracking it. So when you come to me and say, hey, Jennifer, I'm not doing as well as I did last year. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? Like, are you making your phone calls? Are you, what? Right. And it's always interesting when they tell me they don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know?
You're either working or not.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. But let's don't call working coming to the office and just talking to your coworkers. Right? I mean, working is money-making activities.
Well, your coworkers already have a license and will not buy or sell a house for you.
Part of our competition is golf, darts, fantasy football. So there is some time that we spend together, but most people are pretty quick to break off and get back to business.
Yeah, that's right.
We're competitive with everything.
Yeah, most realtors are, I found. So you have darts in your office?
Oh yeah, in the hallway right here. I have golf all set up. Hold on, let me get the fantasy trophy.
I love it.
We have a very social office.
I
We golf
love it. I'm
together.
sitting there trying to figure out where in my office I could put darts.
We have
I'm
a
kind of
long
scared.
hallway with a dartboard, with a putting green, a
No.
chipping practice.
Wow.
And then the
Look.
names.
Oh, yes, you do. Look at that. That is quite a big trophy, too.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. But it's good to have that competitive edge. And it's good to like break out when you're tired of the mundane
Right.
hustle bustle of the office to go and play darts.
Right.
Or have some fantasy football. Fabulous. Well, thank you guys so much. And hopefully today wasn't as bad as you thought it would be.
No, today was great. I think
Yeah,
James did a really good job. I'm quite impressed.
You both did an excellent job. I'm very appreciative that you're here with me, and thank you guys both.
Thanks
And
for
if you have clients moving to Wilmington,
I'll call you first.
please. And I'll do the same for both of you. I'm just going to send it to both of you.
That's
Y'all
okay.
can
I don't
fight it out.
mind letting James be the co-lister. It's fine. And besides, if they're buyers, James isn't taking buyers right now. So send them on my way.
Well, the market's shifting, so I will shift with the market.
See, that's what you're doing differently, James.
Exactly.
Only take buyers.
Right check.
That's fabulous. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate y'all, and this has been super fun.
Thanks,
Okay.
everyone. Look forward to seeing the next Remax Elite.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you going to R4?
Yes, already got tickets.
Oh, you did. Okay. What about you, George?
It says on my goals that I'm going, but I have not booked yet. So
I haven't booked that, but I think I'm going.
I think we're going. If you see the pictures on the wall behind me, there's 2 pictures of James and I on the helicopter tour.
Ah,
From,
fun. And in Vegas, I've never done a
Yeah.
helicopter tour. Did you do it over the canyons?
Yeah, it takes you down in the canyon. You get out and walk around.
Ah, that's fabulous. God, I
Yeah.
might need to pick your brains about how to even sign up for that. How many people could be in a helicopter?
6 or 8.
I think it's 6. At least 6.
Yeah, I think
is
it
it
depends
like
on the weight. Everybody's weight. If you turn, but we've always gone with 6, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And so-
then how long is the excursion from like start to finish?
3-4 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. With
They
that.
pick you up at the hotel. They take you over to Maverick. Maverick's the company, and then they bring you back.
Ah, well, that sounds like fun. I might have to look into that.
Super
I've
fun.
never done that.
That's a good time. We always make a hockey game. Go see the hockey there. We always rent an SUV, loaded up teammates, go drive off into the mountains. Because remember, we're Floridians.
Snowball fights.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really explored outside of the conference. So maybe
Oh,
we should come up a day or two early
Or-
and have a little
or-
team excursion. That would be fun.
yes.
Yeah, and we found casinos with $5 tables during the day.
Wow.
We're not big gamblers, but we like to play a little roulette. And a little bit of craps.
Craps.
So a $5 craps table for an hour or two isn't too painful.
I love it. So I am going to expect y'all to send me an email with an itinerary.
We'll tell you where to show up, and we'll entertain you.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm entertainable.
And we're entertaining.
Works out well then.
Well, sounds great.
Yeah.
Appreciate having you on. That hour went by quickly.
Yes. And I'm sorry it was an hour, but I
No,
look
that's
forward to
great.
seeing y'all in Vegas.
Sounds good. I'll
Vegas.
see you then.
Awesome. Absolutely. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
All right.